Good afternoon, Xbox Nation. We are 1 minute behind schedule. Sorry about that, because I know people look forward to the show. Both the Welsh Gamer and I, of course, look forward to doing this each and every week. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and I want to welcome you to this week's Xbox Factor podcast, where you get truth, where you get justice. And do you really get justice on the show? I think that you do if you're an Xbox fan, but you're going to get all of the positive talk that the Xbox brand deserves to get. And to help me along, and the only person that could possibly do this is my brother from another mother. He is not from London, so don't call him the London Gamer. My very good friend and brother, the Welsh Gamer. Welcome, Drew.
What's going on, people? Oh man, honestly, everyone in the chat, MrBooMStickXL, respectively, every single person here, it is a pleasure once again. I love it, man. I love this show. I love everything about it. We got some incredible topics, and man, let's just get to it, shall we? I'm excited.
Before we get into that, I really enjoy working with this community, and and I've said this numerous times. Welsh, the community has shown such love and admiration for me and accepting me. Obviously being, coming out as a police officer is difficult, right? And sometimes that could be damaging because not everybody's a good guy, and I'm glad that everyone understands that I am. And the reason why I bring that up is because, I started a Patreon because I was asked to do it by numerous people that actually are on there. And, I was a little hesitant about doing it simply because, I wanted to prove myself as a content creator as well as, get the community's trust. And, based on different messages, I've done that. And I'm very proud to announce that I have 17 Patreons supporting Double Barrel Gaming. I mean, that is just insane. So I kind of want to just go over the list real quick and give everybody a shout out because your Patreon it really helps more than you know. It allows me to do giveaways. Which I've done the first one, and we had a couple of winners there. But you know what? Let me start off with, first of all, Josette Rivera, who everyone knows is Mrs. Boomstick. That's my wife. She is my confidant. She is the leader of the pack, so to speak. She's the biggest supporter of the family. AP Cool, Biggie 2316, Chris Hughes Senior, Creeper, the only one left, Defunct Jester, Dave, Elemental P, Jim Jordan, Chaos Theory, Lethal Papa, the Enforcer, Mark Devlin, Mental 9R Gamer, Ricardo Willis, Scrub Nurse, and of course, Tempest Son. And I just wanted to say thank you guys and gals very much for doing that. And, speaking of, giveaways, thanks to Christina Price, who's always in the chat. She reached out to me through DM, and we're going to be in the middle of the show. She donated a Xbox Game Pass for 1 month. So I'm going to be raffling that off. I'll tell you what the hashtag is, and we will get to that. Hopefully, everyone who doesn't have Game Pass at least gets a chance to win that. But you know what, Drew? Let's talk about the hot topic. And open the show on the right foot. When I think of the Xbox brand, the heroes that come to mind are John 117, of course, known as the Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix, Joanna Dark from Perfect Dark, Sam Fisher is the next one in that long list. And, I'm going to say it again. I have called for Splinter Cell's not head, but the fact that we were going to get an announcement 3 years in a row, and I have been wrong each and every year. And first of all, we have to look back to the original Splinter Cell, which launched on November 17th of 2002 to rave reviews. It's one of the few games, shockingly enough, are not backwards compatible, which I really wish it would, because that game is still amazing. We had some breaking news this week regarding Splinter Cell. Now, I had written this topic before the breaking news, so of course I had to really, stick that in there. And in this unbelievable breaking news, a new Splinter Cell game was confirmed to be in development by creative director at Ubisoft, Julian Garrity. And he confirmed that on Twitter that a new Splinter Cell game is in development. And of course, there was a retract or a backtracking, if you will. I'm kind of Look, I'm all into jokes. I like laughing. I like poking fun. But I think that it's safe to say, Drew and chat, that the Splinter Cell absence in not only within the gaming space, the current gaming space, but with just the community at large, is a bit of a sore spot. So when this was kind of pulled back and said, "Oh, he was joking," I just did a big topic on Ubisoft on how they're the generational leaders and for this particular generation in consoles. And when I saw that, I was a little taken aback. Now, there's just two ways to look at this, folks. Was it pulled back because he wasn't supposed to say anything, and they did the nudge into the ribs? We're just poking fun, or was this some sort of a bad joke gone worse? What do you think about this, Drew? Drew, are you there, brother?
Shit. So, can you hear me, Boom?
Yeah,
Sorry.
now I can. Yes.
I do apologize. Is my mic is okay, isn't it?
Yes.
Because yesterday it was buzzing like all hell. I was playing Sea of Thieves and people were like going nuts on me because it was like going like that, and I was just petrified it was doing that for a moment. Oh God. Right. Sorry, Boom. Could you just relay that last part of the question? I was panicking a bit. I kind of missed it.
No, it's okay, dude. Really, what my question was, and of course, this is to the chat because you guys are involved. I mean, you power the show being in the chat. I was extremely disappointed with the way Ubisoft handled this. You had someone in a prominent position come out and say, "Yes, folks, time to get excited. E3 down the block. We're working on a Splinter Cell. Find out new information later." And then, a couple hours later, the wink, wink, poke, poke. Oh, sorry, we were just joshing. I got to be honest with you. It's playing on people's emotions. It's certainly playing on mine, being a big Splinter Cell fan. And I thought it was kind of a kick to the balls. Am I wrong for feeling this way?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is fair enough. If it was like beginning of April, I might have allowed it. I might have let it slide, a bit of an April Fool's little, poke, poke, wink, wink. But at the moment, people are screaming for a Splinter Cell. Boom. I mean, people want this. So I kind of do think that's a little bit below the belt to basically drop that sort of like wink, wink, here it comes, and then pull out and say, it was only a joke afterwards. No, I don't think you're wrong in thinking that, Boom. I think that's poor taste.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I think it's safe to say that everybody, based on what people are saying in the chat, what people are saying in the, on Twitter, everybody wants a new Splinter Cell. I don't know exactly what they're doing, to be honest with you. I mean, it has been quite a bit since we saw the last Splinter Cell. And, I know that there was talk about, a lot of pressure to make Sam Fisher great again, if you will. And you know what? They seem to have handled the pressure pretty damn well when you consider the Division had its issues. They fixed it, right? Division 2 comes out, masterpiece. Assassin's Creed Unity, complete disaster, right? Complete disaster. They finally fixed it. They took a year off. We get Origins. We get Odyssey. Everyone's cheering for the next Assassin's Creed. Rainbow Six started off. It was basically DOA. They fixed it. For Honor, another game completely DOA. They fixed it. People are playing it like crazy. So they should be well enough with the pressure to be able to deliver because they've constantly done it.
But no, absolutely.
But go ahead.
Sorry, but on the back of what you're saying though, like that is kind of like, I'm not saying I condone it, but that is kind of like the Ubisoft formula at this point. They always seem to hype up their games, and then the game you get day one is a drastic downgrade, and then they fix it in the months post launch with patches. Like the biggest one that comes to mind is Watch Dogs.
Yes,
Watch Dogs is a huge one. I mean, I remember when I initially saw the trailer, and I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Man, this looks legit." And then I remember the uproar, like the people just screaming, like the launch version of the game was just a different game. So no, you are completely right. But sorry, carry on.
No. It's really. I mean, there's. I don't know what else there is to say, but I'm curious to hear what the chat has to say about it. What was the chat disappointed like me? Because obviously Splinter Cell's a big name, dude. I mean, Sam Fisher, I think, is as important a character. Take anybody. Mario. I think he's as important as him. Master Chief, absolutely. Kratos, Nathan Drake, Laura Croft, Snake. Big Boss.
Yep.
I think that the Sam Fisher character, the lore, could hold a candle to any of those characters that I just mentioned, and to kind of do that wink wink poke poke thing. I was a little annoyed. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but you know what? What I'm hoping is that for the fourth year in a row, I've already called it. It's going to show up on Microsoft stage, because obviously that's the place where everybody wants to be.
Yeah.
And it's the best spot. But I have to say two quick shout outs. First of all, Ricardo Willis with the outrageous $5 super chat. He says, I think I'm following Boom at every podcast that we've been doing. Love you on Basement Radio Arcade. Yeah, I jumped on at the last minute. If you anybody want to take a listen towards the end of the show, Enrique, who runs Basement Radio Arcade, just sent me a DM. Say, hey, you want to pop on? Sure, why not? And I popped on, and we talked about Microsoft for a little bit. And of course, Timothy Woods with the outrageous $2 super chat. Thank you so much for that. That's very kind of you. He says Lockhart $3.99, PS5 $4.99, Anaconda $5.99. Now, and that's great. And I think you're going to want to hang around, dude, because I really went to town. Drew saw it, of how much original written work I did for that particular topic, which will be coming up very soon. Do you have anything else would you like to add about Splinter Cell?
Yes, I do actually. Basically, so in a nutshell, since you sent me this topic, that new information that broke it has been completely tracked back, which is that exactly what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah. That's
major, man. But then I gotta be honest, I gotta say this, Boom. If I, being the half glass full kind of guy that I am, and I know that you are exactly the same way. I'm a realist first and foremost, but when there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm not completely out of the woods with this. I don't think that they are. Maybe they thought, fuck, what have we done? We've let the cat out of the bag. Maybe they wanted to wait until E3 and they thought, maybe if we just pull the wool over their eyes and just say, it's just a joke. Because every gamer in the world has been asking for this, Boom. Whether you are a fan of Splinter Cell or not, Ubisoft would be fools not to be doing a Splinter Cell, or at least in the works or starting it. I do think that maybe they did intend to leak, or not leak, but put out that tweet or that article or whatever it is in an interview where they gave the wink and the gun towards a Splinter Cell. And then when they realized, hold on, we've kind of just spilled all of our eggs. Why have we done that? They might have just tracked it back, because, I do believe Ubisoft aren't stupid. They bound to have been listening. And in all honesty, Boom, I wouldn't be surprised if it has been in development for some time. I understand that recently we've had the Ghost Recon Breakpoint, reveal, which could be one of the main reasons they've backtracked. Maybe they didn't want their project being undershadowed or overshadowing another Ubisoft project. Maybe they thought the best thing to do is to backtrack. I'm just throwing all possibilities out there. But, with the Ghost Recon Breakpoint being revealed, and it is, it has only been announced this week just gone, that might put a lot of doubt in people's minds that we, might not see a new Splinter Cell anytime soon. But Ubisoft is split into many teams, as you know, Boom, and Ghost Recon is developed by Ubisoft Paris, whereas Splinter Cell is always being developed by Ubisoft Toronto. So a separate team altogether. They are they're bound to be working on something. They're bound to be, at least whether they're in their infancy or been doing it for a while. They aren't stupid, Boom. Ubisoft do not strike me as a stupid development team. I wouldn't be surprised. So there's every chance that people could be pleasantly surprised with how long this game has been worked on, if it is in fact being worked on. But even if it is at the very least in its infancy, I do expect, if I'm being honest, Boom, I do expect that we will get some sort of announcement at E3. And I do expect it to be on the Xbox stage. So for everyone out there, like I'm with you, Boom. That joke is in poor taste.
Yeah.
But I don't, at this point, I gotta be honest, I don't think it was a joke. I just think,
I'm kind of the way that they retracted it
yeah,
so quickly. It seems like, oops, we made a mistake.
yeah. No, imagine it. Like I don't know, like anything. Like I can't even think of an analogy off the top of my head. But just put yourself in Ubisoft's position. Maybe Ubisoft Toronto had a little miscommunication with Ubisoft Paris and other Ubisoft branches, and they were just like, do you know what? Let's just throw a little tease that like Splinter Cell is coming, and they might have done it thinking, wicked, yeah, we got it out there. People are going to get excited, and then they realize, oh shit. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is being announced. No, likely a new Assassin's Creed is going to be teased or something up the line. And they might have just thought, shit, like we did not think this through. We've just jumped the gun, put it out there. Let's just pretend it was a joke. Quickly, put a tweet out or something. Let's retract it. God knows Xbox have been guilty of this before with like Major Nelson putting out certain things. And then the PR department are like, no, reel it in, Major, reel it in. Can't be saying that shit. You know, it does happen, Boom. So at this point in time, I'm leaning more towards it's not a joke. It was just a mistake being played as a joke, and hopefully that puts a little bit of ease in people's minds, because I do believe there is a Splinter Cell in development, whether it's been in development a while and you know, behind the curtain underground, or if it's in its infancy. But either way, I fully expect an announcement for a next generation Splinter Cell, whether it be at this E3 or at another date. But I think, I honestly do. I'll put my reputation on the line. I do believe this was a slip up, not a joke in any case.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. Real quick, Invader Gaming, welcome, dude, to the show. He says, remember the Walmart Canada leak? Splinter Cell was listed the only game that didn't come to fruition. And yeah, you're correct about that. You know, that Canada leak was legit. So maybe the Splinter Cell was just kind of, you know, pulled back. And I don't know. Listen, all I know is that the world is ready for another Splinter Cells. Boom is ready for another Splinter Cell. But I want to move on to the next topic, and I think you're going to dig this one, chat. And I also think you're going to dig this one, and of course you know, because I sent you the information through DM. So what am I talking about? According to TrueAchievements.com, where I pulled the story, another major studio talent joins the initiative. And Drew, what are you going to say?
What the hell are they working on over the initiative?
That's what I'm waiting for.
People, answer the question. God damn it.
Oh, man. You know, again, I had that in the show notes. What the hell are they cooking up over at the initiative? Well, look, here's the thing.
I gotta say, Boom, when I read that topic aloud, like when I was doing my notes, I was just like, the second you wrote "what the hell" with "hell" in capital letters, are they cooking up? I was just like, God damn it! What the hell are they working on?
You know what? Here's the thing. You know, I have a great suspicion. And again, folks, this is my opinion. This is my hype train. If you want to join on board, there's plenty of room. But with that said, you know, when you talk about Sony, you think Naughty Dog. At least I do, because they make flawless games. They really do. They take a long time, but like Rockstar, they're just incredible games. And I know. Like, we don't really know exactly what this quadruple A studio is working on in the initiative. But I am going to say that with the talent that they are surrounding themselves with, I have a great, you know, again, this is my opinion, a great suspicion that this company, this developer is going to be heralded for the Xbox platform as the next Naughty Dog. Again, my opinion. You know, according to their LinkedIn profile, Quebec-based Robert Ryan has joined the growing studio as a senior systems designer. This is off the back of a senior role that's now defunct Motive Studios. He was formerly the head. He formerly head of by Jade Raymond, who we haven't heard in a while. And now, obviously, she is now heading up Google's Stadia gaming division. But before that, Ryan worked on both Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4, as well as The Last of Us and its unreleased sequel. So, folks, we're talking about the guy is leaving that studio that they haven't even released The Last of Us to come work at the initiative. Now, I want to make something perfectly, clear, Drew. The talent in which the initiative is grabbing are the best of the best. And whatever they're doing there, besides a very hefty paycheck, I'm sure, it seems to be the most unrivaled talent in any one particular studio. And Ryan joins an impressive list of staff members at the initiative, which is headed up by former Crystal Dynamics studio head Daryl Gallagher. And last time we checked in with the studio, former God of War designer Chris O'Neill had joined in an unspecified role. O'Neill's profile has now been updated to lead level designer. And here are some of the other key acquisitions. Sunset Overdrive director Drew Murray, Grand Theft Auto 5 technical director Tom Shepard, Rise of the Tomb Raider lead producer Brian Westergaard, Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light director Dan Newberger, Tomb Raider technical artist director Joe Snitzcombe, SpaceX senior software engineer, SpaceX, could you imagine? Ben Diamond, and Red Dead Redemption lead writer Christian Catamesa. I mean, Drew, what do you say with that kind of that kind of listed talent that are all in one location?
What the hell are they working on at the initiative? What more can you say? Honest to God, man. It's absolutely insane. Like, there's so many good, established, industry-leading devs and talent just being plucked. I mean, honestly, I know I don't want to keep repeating myself, but honestly, like, what the hell are they working on over there? I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like, it's very loaded, this is, Boom. It's very loaded indeed, because, like, what you're basically saying is, like, what do I take from this talent that they're pulling left and right? And it's loaded because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Boom, but, like, maybe I just haven't paid attention over the years, but I do not believe I have ever seen a development team recruit this many.
No, not in the history of gaming, dude.
Well, at least there I know I'm not, I'm not paying attention then, because I sure as hell haven't noticed. Like, for this many names in the industry for just one development house, it just blows my mind. I know full well, we all do. We've all been gaming for a long time. Anyone in the chat probably will agree. We all know full well that developers sometimes recruit other developers for their projects.
Yeah.
That isn't really mind-blowing news. But this, Boom, like, this, to this degree, this level, like, this amount of people, and it ain't just normal people. These aren't janitors and like pipe boys. These are literally like the creme de la creme. Like you said, the best of the best. These are big names. This is crazy, Boom. Like, this, what the initiative is doing is unprecedented and truly quite impressive. I know I have said, like, what the hell are they working on at the initiative, like 1,000 times. I've said it 5 times on this show already. But that is always the first thing that pops to my mind. There is no way they are not working on multiple projects.
It's funny you should say that, because that actually was in the were in the notes. And I was going to say, it would be foolhardy, if you will, to assume. First of all, you can't really assume anything because we have no idea. But I am going to say this, and I'm going to stand on this hill and die on it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fine. There is no way with this talent that has been put together, there is no way they're working on just one project. This has to be multiple projects. You got to remember, folks, when you gather this much talent that came from such an array of extremely big development houses, they bring their own ideologies and their own work with them. right? Like this is, they could have stuff they wanted to pitch to Sony, and maybe it didn't get, or to another, another developer, like for instance, Rockstar. One guy working there said, "Hey, look, what about this idea?" And they were like, "No, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing." These talented people, which by the way, the criteria, I don't think anyone really talks about this. You have to have a minimum 10 years in the business.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people talk about that. So you're getting extremely talented people with a lot of know-how underneath their belts. You know what I'm saying? And I would honestly look. I gotta say, a big shout out to Elemental P with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, whatever Xbox game studios are working on, they sure aren't a AA experience. Classy games all the way. And I have to agree with him. I think that these studios weren't picked at random. You understand? And I think that Phil Spencer saw projects that were further along, away from being put out there, and signed these development houses to be first party because of what they had, their visions. And this quadruple A studio, Drew, is shaping up. Listen, I say it all the time. I've been gaming for over 40 years. I have never seen this amount of talent in one location. It's just epic, dude.
No, mate, absolutely. Which just cements what we're saying about, like, there is literally just no way that they're working on anything less than multiple projects. It's just not. It's just like maybe like 6 or 7 recruited candidates ago, I might have argued like, they're plucking a couple of people, like, maybe they're just going big, going hard with one massive project. But when you count just how many people they've picked, like, there's just no way. Like, frankly, I'll go to be honest, I would be genuinely concerned if after all these names that they've announced, if they did announce at a later date that all of these masterminds were working on one game. I'm not saying it couldn't work, but I would be quite concerned because, like we've said, and you just said so eloquently, like, too many cooks spoil the broth.
Yes.
We have said this before, and this is just too many people for one project, I think. I'm open to be proven wrong. Like, we're just speculating, but I think logically there's got to be multiple projects at work here. I, for one, expect at least 2 or 3 games in the works minimum, and I do expect at least one of them to be announced at E3 this year. Before I continue, though, like someone in the chat said, it's like the Avengers. And that's a great point, because that actually coexists with what I was saying about, like, too many cooks spoil the broth. Just look at the Avengers. Thor and Captain America fought once in a while. The Hulk and Thor fought. Bloody Civil War, you had Captain America and Iron Man butting heads. No matter how formidable a team may appear, people have different ideologies, different outlooks, different feelings, and it can result in catastrophe, as the Vision would put it. So that's what I mean by just, to have all of these very, very headstrong, clever, talented individuals working on just one project. There'd be no doubt some headbutting going on. So I do believe it's multiple projects. But all in all, though, Boom, this is very exciting. This is very exciting. And what makes it even more exciting, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again for anyone who has not caught an episode, maybe this is your first episode, but none of these people, Boom, in question, none of these talented masterminds of the industry that have been recruited, none of these people are desperate for work.
No, you're right. That's a great point. Great point.
Literally, none of these, they could have happily stayed where they were until they retired at the ripe old age of 102, with a beer in their hand and their feet kicked up watching the Super Bowl. They did not need this job. The initiative would have existed with or without them. It's probably it's better off now with them, don't get me wrong, but none of these people were desperate for work. They all had excellent jobs, and they chose to leave their jobs to work at the initiative, which just makes me wonder more and more, like, what the hell are they working on the initiative? Honestly, literally, like, think about it, Boom. That's like Captain America, the leader of the Avengers, the one who's taken the Avengers through thick and thin, like all the battles they have faced, all the titans and the tyrants and the galaxy threateners that they've defeated. And then Captain America goes, do you know what, guys, it's been a good run, but I'm going to go join up with the Justice League. I'm going to jump over to DC.
I love it. That's great. I'm joining the Justice League. Screw you.
No, literally, at that point, you've got to think, what the hell are they doing over at the Justice League? Like, because for Captain America to up and leave, you got to wonder. So, no, man, this is exciting stuff. Whatever the initiative is working on, I expect it to be pretty remarkable and pretty industry-leading stuff, to say the least.
I have a theory, and again, I listen. When I'm wrong, I think everybody understands that I'm a man, and I will come out there and stand on the highest flagpole and scream to the high heavens that I'm wrong. No problem with that, because I think that really shows your character. Being wrong, nobody wants to be wrong, right? But at the same time, if you are, you got to tip your cap. You have to admit your shortcomings, your failings. That's what makes you a better person. And I'm going to say this about my prediction with the initiative. They're a quadruple A studio, right? It's a new studio. Lots of talent are going there. Microsoft is in a position where right now it's a little slim pickings for their first party stuff, right? We have Gears 5, we have Ori, we have Battletoads, supposedly, and I'm going to be honest with you. There's the Gears is going to be a masterpiece, dude. That's going to be game of the year. I guarantee you. And the other smaller titles, they're still important. They still hold relevance within the Microsoft first party because they're still Microsoft first party. But see, this team, the way it's staffing up, the way it is like a vacuum, just really going around California, just sucking up all the talent. It's the craziest thing. They're going to be different levels. I think this development house is going to put out multiple AAA titles, but I think that just because one AAA title was, a 56 million to make and the other one was 28 million to make, I don't necessarily think it's going to be bad. I think that that with all of this talent, Drew, they can have multiple projects. The bigger ones, the open world RPG, i.e. The Witcher kind of a game, that's probably going to take 5 years, and I'm okay waiting for that. But the smaller titles, and I don't mean smaller in scope and size, I just mean that it won't be as big as that, may take 3 years. And they may be working on a first-party game to go into Game Pass that only takes 2 years. We don't know this, but I think that they're going to have multiple titles coming out. And I think each and every one of them that comes out is going to be done with class, with pride, and it's really going to start, we're going to start seeing the fruits of Phil Spencer's labor.
No, absolutely. Another thing worth mentioning as well is the fact that all of these talented people we've mentioned, like the development side of the gaming industry, no matter what department you're in, you might be the sound director, a voice actor, you might be the one who writes the dialogue, the story, the VFX guy, the graphics designer. Like, there's so many different things I just mentioned a couple off the top of my head. I probably used the worst possible terminology for them as well. But these are the point I'm trying to make is these guys, all of these guys, they are artists.
Yes.
They are artists. They are the modern day Picasso, the modern day Van Gogh. These people are not going to put their name on something unless they know it's good. Like, look at just some of these people, like people who've come from Naughty Dog, worked on Last of Us, worked on Uncharted. Those games aren't bloody indies that are going to be forgotten in a few weeks. Like, these are like big name titles with big names attached to them, and like I said, they've left those positions to come and work on whatever the initiative is like working on. I don't know how else to put it. They're artists, and they are not going to put their signature on the bottom right corner of that canvas unless it is worth it. So that just gets me excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, I have to say this before we move on to the next topic. First of all, almost 140 people watching live is bananas. And I've seen a couple of people, hit the like button. Yeah, please, folks, if you don't mind, I don't really ask for much. The sharing on social media, you're not obligated to do that. If you enjoy the show, I would appreciate that. But the like button, I do, that does help, man. I mean, the more that like button is hit, the better chances the algorithm for this show is gonna. This show, I think, is important for Xbox gamers. Like if, for instance, you take for like RDX, what Dealer and those guys are doing over there, my God. I mean, it's like, what the hell are they doing over there? Because they had 900 people watching live. Like, good on Dealer and that crew. Love and respect everybody on that panel. And of course, they just got the big dog, Tim Dog, to be on there as a regular panel member, which that's huge. I'm trying to work with Tim to get him on this show, which would be really cool. Hopefully, I can get that done. Post E3 would be great. And of course, the Xbox 2, another really fantastic Xbox show. You got Jez Gordon from Windows Central, and of course, you got a very good friend of the show and a very good friend of mine. I like to consider him Randolph Thor 19. So I like to consider this show in that group, simply because we come here as fans, we get excited for stuff. We nerd out, and it's perfectly acceptable. We don't do the naysaying shit. We don't bash anybody, and that's what you're going to get. But you know what? I want to move on to the next topic, Drew. And Halo, the Master Chief Collection, has once again, besides being delayed, gotten itself into the news, and this time it's actually good news, because the PC version is going to offer cross progression, and I think that this is important. More important than crossplay. If you remember last year, Drew and chat, there was a big uproar for crossplay and cross progression with the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. Now, of course, the Nintendo Switch, very unlike Nintendo, they allowed crossplay and they allowed cross progression. And we know what Sony did. There's no reason to drudge that up. But at the same time, there have been a lot of roadblocks. With the cross play more specifically, but the cross progression, 343 Industries, from what we understand, worked on that first. Now, cross play, I saw a lot of people, like a lot of boo birds came out. Boo, no cross play. Like, listen, folks, hold on. I'm gonna have to pull some people's coattails talking about this cross play shenanigans. Everyone, and I mean just about anyone that's in this chat, has talked about it before. Nobody wants to play against someone mouse and keyboard. That is a fact. Okay, so the mere fact that 343 put cross progression ahead of cross play, I think was a smart move, simply because there are a lot of Xbox gamers who have really good rigs, and you might want to play the Master Chief Collection. Isn't it pretty cool to just go to your big rig PC, your $3,000 rig, pop on the Master Chief Collection, and you're doing 4K 60 in all its glory, and you get all the advantages, but all of your stuff from the Xbox comes over with you? I mean, Drew, am I talking crazy here, or do you feel that one like cross play was more important than cross progression?
Well, I mean, crossplay is one. Obviously they're both very different things, but both important in their own right. But cross progression, I think, is a fantastic thing. That, do you know what? I'm just going to address the both things in its entirety. Like, just to be perfectly clear from my standpoint, like, this doesn't really affect me, as I don't own a PC, and the only console I do own is the One X. But on principle, I think that it should be a standard thing at this point, Boom, with any game, crossplay and cross progression.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
Both of those things should be readily available with every game, in my opinion. I know this topic is aimed at Master Chief Collection between the Xbox and the PC specifically, but I honestly do feel at this point in time, with gaming where it is now, there's no excuse really for games to not have crossplay and cross progression across consoles and PC. Like, in answer to your question just now, Boom, like the ability to just take your game and the progression you've made with that game with you across any platform, it just seems only fair. Like, if you are an individual that owns multiple systems, a PC and whatever other consoles, and you've bought one, more than one copy of said game, whether it be Master Chief Collection, Destiny, Call of Duty, whatever, you shouldn't be forced to grind on each system. Like, have a separate save with each system. And with regards to crossplay, I think that, that should be a standard thing. More to the point, you wouldn't even need to really concern yourself with whether a game has cross progression or not, because if you were able to play with your friends online or cooperatively, regardless of the platform, like, that would render cross progression. You wouldn't even need to concern yourself with cross progression, because that would kill two birds with one stone. But, as we have discussed, like, with regards to crossplay, like, I think they should just have the option in the menu, like, to turn it off, or at least,
Yes, great point.
Really
great point.
Honestly, like, just a simple fix that would be boom. A simple, maybe even just a filter where you can tick, like PC users allowed, or controller users allowed, or both allowed, like whatever. I do apologize, Boom, if like I haven't answered your question specifically regarding.
No, you're actually. But I like when you go outside the box. I mean, this is a conversational podcast. That's what we do.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Because but with this topic of crossplay and cross progression, like it does. I'll be honest, like it get not with no fault of yours. Like, it does get my neck up a bit, because I just can't understand why in 2019, nearing 2020, and a new generation on the horizon, no less, that this isn't a standard thing by now. Like,
yeah, I agree. I think, again, not to make excuses for 343, but you also got to remember that they have to go back into the code and make all of this stuff new, because the game is old as hell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it came out in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2015, but it's old nonetheless. And I like the cross progression. They said that cross play is something they're going to do. It's just going to be down the line. And with all of the issues that actually came with the Master Chief Collection, to get it to where it is today, I mean, again, not to make an excuse, it is a pretty impressive, to be honest with you. So yeah. I think we're going to get the cross play, and I agree with you. Moving forward, all Microsoft first-party games should come with the ability for both cross progression and cross play. That's a big thing. And real quick, I got to give a shout out to Crazy Greek Dude, who wrote something pretty awesome. He says, I want cross progression so bad, especially in Rocket League. And yes, I agree with you, dude, because I have a ton of time in Rocket League, and I would hate to have to do I own Rocket League on all three consoles. It's crazy. And I would love to be able to take that back and forth with everything that I have unlocked. Wow, real quick, Scrub Nurse with the outrageous $5 super chat. He says, my hope in the future is that all systems use course progression. We're buying the games on multiple consoles. Companies still make the money on great show. Well, listen, first of all, thank you so much for the awesome compliment. Thank you again for the generosity. And once again, you are correct. These companies, I don't necessarily if they understand how important cross progression is, because if you can do that, listen, this is a generation, even though it seems like it's very divided, right? You have your PlayStation guys and gals, you have your Xbox guys and gals, and you have your Switch guys and gals. It's not as cut and dry as you think. I don't know how much of the percentage, and I really would wish there was someone would do the investigation to this. It would take a significant amount of time. But to find out how many people within the gaming community support multiple consoles. There are, I think someone that supports all three, like myself, I'm not saying it's a rarity, but because it's a very inexpensive hobby, some people just can't do it. And I totally get that. But I would like to know the actual numbers in that, because I think that, a developer of a game, you're going to sell more copies of said game if your progression for Destiny 3 is carried across, three consoles, your PC, your Xbox, and your PS, whatever. If you have some people have more friends, some people are split down the middle. Some people have just as many friends on their PSN network as they do as their Xbox Live. And so again, you start to run into that crowd where, well, my friends on Sony, they only play on Sony, so I want to go play with them, but I want to bring my stats over. That's important. And if you are that into a particular game, as a gamer, you will have no problem buying that game again. So the developer is getting, and the publisher are getting two for the price of one. I don't understand why that's not put to the forefront. But again, I'm not an investor, so what do I know? Anything else you'd like to add before we get out of here and move on to the next topic, dude?
Do you know, I don't know. I know in the back of my head there's something I could definitely add to this that I haven't already said, but there's just no, I just honestly, I just don't see any scenario, and I'm really trying, Boom, to think of a negative to.
There is no negative, dude. There's
yeah,
none.
there is just like sometimes it's okay to not have a negative, and I just think this is one of those cases where cross-play and cross-progression would be more than accepting across the board. Anyone who says no, I don't know, their opinion to me doesn't even matter, and I rarely ever say that. Opinions matter to me. I like hearing other people's opinions, but for someone to sit there, look me dead in the eye and go, I do not want cross-play or cross-progression, you're fooling yourself, because why wouldn't you want to be able to take your save across the board? Whatever game, exclusively or multiplayer. Like if you're a Destiny diehard player and you hop from console to console playing with different friends, why wouldn't you, in your right mind,
Great point,
want to be able to take your hard-earned stats? It just makes no sense. Maybe they could go about it a way where Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo just give the green light. Like, yeah, it's okay. And it's left to the developers themselves. So for example, say Ubisoft. Ubisoft comes out with Assassin's Creed Germany. Say that's the next one they do. And with that, they announce, they probably have something like this already, but they announce something of the effect of, we are opening up the new and improved Ubisoft Cloud, where you can save your progress into the cloud and receive it no matter what console you're on. So whether you're on the Switch, the Xbox, the PC, or the PS4, you can sign into your Ubisoft server account, pluck your save out of the air, and you can upload it straight onto the system of choice. Maybe they could go about it that way. So it's just a simple, and that goes for anything like Infinity Ward with Call of Duty, or fucking I don't know, I'm having a brain fart now, that all the developers in the world, really, even CD Projekt Red, take Cyberpunk. I know that's not an online game, but say you're an Xbox gamer and you've got hours and hours and hours of Cyberpunk under your belt, and you feel like playing on the PS4 for whatever reason, as a change of pace, and you want to, go onto the CD Projekt Red cloud server that they've provided for you, and you can pluck your save out of the air and continue where you left off on your PlayStation. There's so many ways around it. And the whole keyboard and mouse versus controller thing, like I've said before, crossplay is a welcome change for me. I think they should have it in every single game as an option, just to make things more interesting, with the added option of a filter where you can filter out or filter in chosen opponents. If you want to just play controller v controller, that should be a selected availability. Same for controller v keyboard and whatnot. It's so easy. It's so easily done. I can't believe this is even a conversation. If by next generation this isn't a standard, I think there's definitely something amiss somewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. Listen, before we move on to the next topic, I said that once we got to the middle of the show, I was going to let people know what to put on Twitter. The hashtag is going to be Splinter Cell FTW in all lowercase. Splinter Cell for the win. Tweet that, and I'm going to make a drawing for the prize that was donated to the show today by Christina Price. It's 1 month of Xbox Game Pass, which I think is pretty cool. And there's a lot of stuff coming. We're talking about Game Pass, which doesn't surprise anybody, but we're talking about towards the end of the show. But this is where we get to the beefy part of the show. Kind of wanted to get everybody excited. We got almost 140 people watching live, which is, again, bananas. I have to once again thank LMNOP for the additional outstanding $5 super chat. He says, do you think Epic Game Store will allow more crossplay /progression given the tight partnership between Epic and Microsoft? Well, if you would have asked me that question a couple of years ago, dude, I would have said absolutely not, because, obviously the head of Epic always had some negative things to say about Microsoft, and he completely, in a recent interview, did a 180 and shocked everybody about how he loves everything Microsoft is doing. So yeah, that's now I can see that happening. But real quick, Drew, this is where I'm going to be talking a lot, at least for a good 5 or 6 minutes, because I wrote a lot and there's a lot to discuss, and I'm going to get your opinion on this. With E3 only a few weeks away, which I honestly cannot believe, I thought it might be a great idea to talk pricing of the Xbox, Lockhart, Anaconda, and of course the latest rumor of the PlayStation 5 being $500. And though I don't expect Microsoft to be talking anything about price, I don't. I am going to say this. In the last few months, both on social media and with the mainstream media, Drew, there has been a ton of talk about how Sony is in the driver's seat with the PlayStation 5. And I'm going to be honest with you. After preparing for today's show, I've gone back and I looked at all the information. And I have to say I do not agree with this. In fact, I 1000% disagree with what these folks on Twitter, other forms of social media, and in the mainstream media are saying. And the reason why I think that is because, like you're going to get on this show, hashtag facts are going to be brought to the table to back up my opinions. Look, we've talked about this before, Drew. The two-prong attack Microsoft has put into play has taken Sony by surprise. There's no doubt about that. The Lockhart and Anaconda versus the PS5 is going to be a more meaningful fight than people are giving it credit for. A new and very damning article was released that has a Japanese analyst who is in the know, oh, by the way, and has been used in gaming predictions before, which he was right on all of them, claims that not only is the PlayStation 5 not releasing till November, and we kind of talked about that yesterday, me and Salty, we both agreed on that, but it's going to have a $500 price sticker. And I also, and you and I have talked privately about that. We think the same thing, simply because of the technology that's going into this box. The PS5, regardless of whether you're a fan or not, is going to be a very comparable system. There's no doubt about it. So this ideology of a $400 box because they spent, because the Pro is $400. Well, you don't get much with the Pro, and I don't think you're going to get double or triple the technology for the same price. It just doesn't make any financial sense. And this is where the topic takes a huge turn in the favor of Microsoft. In 2013, the Xbox One lost the race before it even started. They had a $500 underpowered game console that had a forced Connect 2.0. And again, this isn't new. This isn't a revelation, folks. But I have to talk about that because this is going to move on into my next point. There's no doubt that the PlayStation 5 is going to be powerful. And the addition of backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 1, 2, and 4 is going to be a big deal. There are a lot of fans that are looking forward to that. Sony as a whole is making profits in their gaming division. And the only IP in films that actually are making money for them are some of their animated stuff. We know, obviously, Into the Spider-Verse did very, very well for them. Spider-Man Far From Home is going to do very well for them. Venom, surprisingly enough, I enjoyed that film, did very well for them. But Microsoft, now we're going to get into the Microsoft part of this topic, has netted record profits across the board and has a huge advantage in how much money they have to play with, Drew. And of course, I'm going to be talking about why the Anaconda and Lockhart are going to benefit from this. Both Microsoft's next-gen consoles will be priced in a way that Sony will not be able to match. I am pretty confident on that. And if I'm wrong, I will eat my hat, no problem. the Lockhart is going to be the most affordable of the consoles. And I think when you say affordable, you say, well, boom, what is it? What would be considered affordable? Now I've seen some people in the chat say, well, $399, boom, and I think $399 is a fair price. But I think that because this is a different type of Microsoft, I think their pricing is going to be more aggressive. They're going to pull a Sony. They're going to do to Sony what Sony did to them in 2013. So now let's talk about the Lockhart for a second. As we've heard, again, this is nothing confirmation, folks. The Xbox Lockhart is going to be slightly more powerful than the X, and the X sitting right next to me is the most powerful console, and it plays all games outrageously well. So now let's move on to the big boy. Now the Anaconda, you've heard $599, $699. You know, and I think that is insane. I think what Microsoft is going to do, and I said it 10 seconds ago, they're going to pull a Sony. They're going to wait for Sony to announce the price of the PlayStation 5, and when they announce it at $499.99, Microsoft is going to then drop the Lockhart to like $350, $349 introduction price to the people who want to come in, that can't afford the big boy. And I think Microsoft is in a financial position to even take a small loss on the Anaconda and put that at $499 to match Sony and say, okay, Sony, you have a just like they did in 2013, an underpowered box for the same price as this monster over here. Drew, what do you think about this?
Right. MrBooMStickXL. I tell you what, man, like this whole topic, it was very, very loaded indeed, because you just threw some curveballs at me. I can't deny it. I mean, like I have theorized in recent weeks, as you know, I mentioned it last week on the Xbox Factor as well. But I have theorized in recent weeks that the Lockhart and the PS5 will be very similar in specs and price, ranging from the $350 to $399 mark. I'd say more likely the $399 mark. That was sort of my theory, leaving the Anaconda, which will be another level above in specs and performance, for around the $500 to $600 mark. Now, that was my initial theory, and I did stick by it. I thought it was a good, there was logic to it, ultimately matching or besting the PlayStation in price and performance with the Lockhart entry model, while also having the option to go even bigger with the Anaconda. It is also worth mentioning, with regards to my theory and the new one that you have just presented to me, Boom, that the Xbox One X is still a very capable system.
It certainly is, yes.
It is way more powerful than the PS4 Pro and is far closer to a next-gen box, in quotations, than anything else available right now on the market. My point being, a lot of people, mainly the casuals, specifically though, the type of casual that has only recently upgraded from their 360 to a One S, and believe me when I say that those people do exist, but those people may be the ones that upgrade from their One S or even their Xbox Fat models to the Xbox One X as an early next generation sort of like toe in the pool, which is still money for Microsoft. People can still use the services and the games won't be locked out due to backwards and forwards compatibility. So that could also be another factor in Xbox's favor that the PlayStation can't really combat against. But more specifically, with regards to your theory, Boom, which is so well put, man, so well put.
Thank you.
Without sidetracking any more, because I do that.
No, that's okay. Listen, like I said, this is a conversational podcast, and if everyone wants to know, I get that from Greg Miller. He always says that when people go off Kinder. That's perfectly okay. That's what we do. It's a talk show.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But responding to your theory specifically now, yours could well and truly be even more effective than mine by a heavy amount, I think. And then, I gave it a lot of thought as well, like the fact that I pegged the PS5 and Lockhart to be like pretty close to one another. And I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but in response to your theory, I mean it, Boom. Yours could well and truly have an even bigger effect than mine ever could. As the Lockhart, if priced around $399, the $399 mark, or even less than the PS5 is rumored to be at $500, if there's any truth to that. If the Anaconda, as we know, is likely and it will likely dwarf the PS5 in every way, if they either match or even undercut the PS5 in its price, then you are just enhancing your chances of Xbox selling systems, which in turn more people will subscribe to Live and Game Pass. New IPs in the mix, no doubt. The best place to play your multiplats on the superior network. It's a strong stance to be in, Boom, going into a new generation. Casuals and hardcore alike will lean towards Xbox, as history has proven. Price and power is huge.
Yes.
And and I'll end on this. PS5 is definitely not in the driver's seat.
No, they're not.
But Boom, neither is Xbox yet.
Yes, correct.
Neither is Xbox yet. I'm playing it fair. Truly now, Boom, depending on how Xbox price their machines, which me and you have already agreed on weeks previous, they need to undercut Sony massively. They need to wait till Sony pulls out their announcement with their price tag, and they need to undercut that shit. But literally, depending on how Xbox price their machines, will truly determine who is in the driver's seat. So I just hope that Xbox is listening and they play this hand very smart and they don't screw this up, because they have before and it bit them on the ass. They have a real chance to go into this generation as strong as humanly possible. They're firing off at all cylinders, but the price can be a huge detrimental factor if they don't do it properly. So yeah, in answer to your theory, Boom, very impressive stuff, and they should hire you.
Well, I Microsoft, if you're listening, I need a job, and I will work in marketing. Even though I'm old, I have experience.
No, mate, honestly, it just goes without saying. This is the thing, marketing. They need a good marketing team, a good. I
can head that team, and I will make Xbox great again.
I'll make Xbox great again. God damn it! But no, I think there's a lot of stock in what you're saying. The Lockhart is going to be a very impressive system. There's still a lot of chat. There's still a high possibility that it could be very close to what the PS5 is offering. And then the Anaconda is going to be at we all know by now. I'd be very surprised if the PS5 is on point, if not more powerful than the Anaconda. That would very much surprise me. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would surprise me. But in any case, assuming that the Anaconda is going to be another significant leap above the PS5, they just need to take that price cut, match the PS5 or undercut it, and just be like, yo, this is what's happening. People are just going to flock, man. Not just for the systems, not just for the power and the price. That's helpful. But Xbox has all of these amazing services and all this new talent, and all these new IPs coming their way. They are really sitting in a great position of strength. And the only way they could mess this up is if they price these machines poorly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. You know what? First of all, when the dust clears and these consoles are out, the Anaconda is going to be known as the beast, the big bad, or even in some circles, the bully of the gaming space. And the folks that are suggesting that it's going to be $5.99 are not wrong. By all rights, it probably should be $5.99. But I'm going to say this: Microsoft has to be aggressive. They need to go for the jugular. Cut them from ear to ear, if you don't understand what I'm talking about. All right. And I truly, truly mean that. If you have to understand, price and power reigned supreme at the beginning of this generation. And look at what it did for Sony. They got ahead in the race and they never looked back. This is an opportunity for Phil Spencer to take everything that he has done with the services, the turnaround of the ideology of the company, the first party development houses. I still have a funny feeling we're going to get 3 to 5 announcements at E3. You take all of what he has done, everything that he has talked about, and since becoming the head dude right next to Satya Nadella in 2017, and you put the cherry on top of this Microsoft Sunday, where the Anaconda and the Lockhart not only will beat Sony in power, and the Lockhart, no, it won't beat the PS5, but it'll be comparable to the PS5. The Anaconda is going to curb stomp the PS5 in power based on what we know. With that said, this is a golden opportunity to do exactly what Sony did. Get in the lead and never even bother looking in the rear view mirror. And that's what they need to do. I'm hoping that's what they need to do. And you know what? Before I move on to the next topic, I just want to finish off by saying what I am referring to, Drew, is considered an extremely bold move. Something that they haven't been very bold in this generation. And I think if they want to win, if they want to be the market leader, if they want people to not BS about them, they need to be aggressive. What do you think about that?
No, mate, absolutely. It's got to be a very cutthroat and impactful strategy. They need to just go in hard. And this actually makes me go to this comment I read in the live chat by Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Big shout out to him.
Enrique, good dude.
No, mate, great supporter of the channel, great supporter of the show. But he said, I do believe Sony is in the driver's seat going in next gen. They've already sold PS5s with the foreseeable sequels to their first party franchises this generation. Now, that's an interesting thing because he's completely correct.
Yeah, he is. He is correct in saying that.
But he's completely wrong at the exact same time, and I'm going to explain why. When you look at the generation currently, there is 100 million units sold over there at PlayStation. And on average, as Boom put together last week on the Xbox Factor, you're averaging anywhere between 3 and 8 or so million users buying the first party games, which is great. Like, they're great numbers, Boom. We can all agree. But when you compare that to the 100 million units sold, it's kind of like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack, like in terms of like the ratio. So my argument is, the other 92 million people are the people that Xbox need to aim their sights on, which are the casuals. Because I tell you now, all those people who bought into PlayStation beginning of this generation, the vast majority of those PlayStation owners that did not support any of these, big franchises you're speaking of, dude, which you have every right in saying, like, you are right in saying that.
Yeah.
But that 92 million plus that didn't support all these first party franchises are the ones that are playing FIFA, Madden, and Call of Duty all the time. They're casual. Yes. They have no preference. They go where the price tag is. So if Xbox opens up this generation with a Lockhart, which is going to be more powerful than the X, but at a very low price, entering into a new gen, that's going to spark people's interest. And then if you got people who have no preference, but they want power performance for a reasonable price, that's where me and Boom are sitting with the whole theory of Xbox. Wait until PlayStation announce the price and then undercut that shit.
It's called pulling a Sony.
Exactly. So Basement Radio Arcade, everything you said is completely correct, and they have already sold the very least 10 million PS5s, because that is the people who have been supporting the first party all generation. But the other 90 plus million who are the casuals, those are the ones that Xbox need to grab. And I'll say this just to end my point, Boom, on this topic. Xbox needs to reveal every bit of detail they can at this E3, except the price. They cannot drop the price tag. They cannot drop that price tag.
They have to hold that close to the vest, and don't let Jeff Keighley know.
Exactly.
Okay, don't let Jeff Keighley know any information, please.
Mate, absolutely. They simply need to hold that in their back pocket until PlayStation reveal the price of the PS5. Once that is out there, it's spreading like wildfire, it is official, then and only then can Xbox come out and with their price tag. And with any luck, if they're listening, they do it right.
Yeah, I agree. Well, real quick, I want to just announce the winner of the 1 month of Xbox Game Pass, and it's none other than channel sponsor Rested Dubs, also known as the Graphic God. Congratulations on that, dude. I'll send you the code as soon as the show is done. And of course, I used Tweet Drawer to get that winner, and he was the first one picked. So congratulations, J Dubs, in the chat. Let's move on to the next topic, dude, and I think it's a good one. And of course, I am going to shout out another place I enjoy getting a lot of my information from, DualShockers.com. They were reporting that, and they showed the Gears 5 box art along with a release date that will have us playing Gears 5 a heck of a lot sooner than I actually thought. First of all, look, and I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Gears 5, in my opinion, is already slated in many circles Game of the Year 2019 for a lot of reasons. And we've only seen a little bit, but what we've seen, it's really, it appears that the coalition is crafting something really special. And speaking of the coalition, I have full confidence, not only in the team, but Rod Ferguson, who of course is the lead dog there, that the different kind, in parentheses, air quotes, of Gears that we're going to get is going to be the biggest in the entire franchise and will rejuvenate the long-running series in ways I've personally only dreamed of. With all of that said, though, the new information leaked earlier this week with the unofficial, box art, which had the community very divided, to be honest with you. Welsh, I saw some people who love it. I actually happen to be one of them. I thought it was pretty cool, the box art. And then I saw a lot of people like Lady Foxfire, who's the biggest Gears fan that I know. She did not like it, and she was very vocal about that. But here's my question to you before we get into the actual release date. Did you see the box art, and what were your thoughts on it?
I did see the box art, and to be honest, like when it comes to the box art, it means very little to me when it comes to
that makes sense.
When it came, it's only this generation's fault, Boom. That goes for any game, not just Gears. It means even less to me nowadays. Like I said, it's this generation's fault, literally because I buy most of my games digitally nowadays. So. But so I'm not the disc collector I once was, and I know you, Boom. You're a huge fan of collecting, the big collections with all the.
There's going to be a collector's edition, and if there is, I'm buying it with Kate on something. I don't care if it's on a windmill, a sled, in a bikini pose. I don't care. I'm getting the collector's edition.
Christ, so there's a bikini pose. I'll be getting it too. Fuck. Pardon me, that slipped out. But no, I totally agree. What I'm getting at is people like yourself who still love the collections and to have things on display. It's your prerogative to like or dislike the box art. But for me, it doesn't really bother me. But if you were asking me right now, as you are, gun to my head, Welsh, stop sidetracking the question, yo. I'll put a cap in your ass if you don't give me an answer.
That's great.
And if you're just asking me if I like what the leaked box art image was, I think it looks absolutely fine. I don't think it is anywhere near what we'll actually get, if I'm being honest. But if hypothetically speaking, that is the official box art, I have no problem with it at all. It does look quite cool. It looks colorful. It looks inviting. It's got Kate on the front. It's got
a lot going on. It's very busy, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say this. I do not understand how anyone could hate it. How anyone could even hate box art. Like there's got to be more important things to hate on. I mean, like this for all I care, this game could come with a picture of bloody Usain Bolt's cock on the front, and I'd still buy it and play the shit out of it. Honestly, I couldn't care less what's on the box. Just give me the disc. I don't even need a box. Don't even give me a disc. Just give me the code.
Yeah.
I'm all about what I'm playing on my TV, not like what's said on what it looks like on the cover. But still, at face value, looking at the box art that's leaked, I think it looks fine. If that is what we're getting, that looks absolutely fine to me. I don't see the issue. I honestly don't understand where any hate could possibly come from. It's just box art. It don't bother me at all.
Real quick before I get on to the release date, Christian Gonzalez with the outrageous $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Christian. I really appreciate that. He says, I think Microsoft will fight an uphill battle as well. Definitely the underdog. Oh, yes, there's no doubt about it. That's a great point, Christian. I think that they are, in fact, the underdog. And you know what? I like being the underdog because when you win, you surprise people. I think, listen, I'm a confident Xbox guy. And one of the biggest fears I personally have with the brand moving forward isn't the games, isn't the power. It's the message. The messaging has me greatly concerned. And I'm not saying I want to take Aaron Greenberg's job. What I'm saying is that, Aaron, if you're listening, or Mike Ybarra, if you show up in the chat, hello, Mike, thanks for stopping by. Let Aaron know that he can hire an apprentice like myself who's a little long in the tooth, but I kind of know a few things about business, and I will again help Microsoft be great again. So let's get that done, folks. But real quick, the release date was also attached to this leaked box art, and it appears that we are getting Gears 5 on September 10th, Drew. And, obviously this is a leak, so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But we have heard other reports of an early fall release for Gears 5. And I got to be honest with you, I am definitely okay with this. This is obviously the start of the fall gaming rush. And this gives Gears 5 a lot of breathing room to sell well. You know what I'm saying? To get people playing the single player, the co-op modes, and of course the story franchised multiplayer. What do you think about that particular release date, dude?
Dude, man, I done a little digging into digging's quite a broad term. It was quite easy, really, just a simple Googles and searches. But no, I just looked at like the previous Gears games and their release dates. And Gears of War 1 was October of that year, Gears 2 was November of that year, Gears 3 was September of that year, Gears 4 was October of its respective year, and Gears Ultimate Edition was a late August, so just shy of September. So I think it's a very plausible date. It's doable. It's a nice time to drop a game, as you said. It's like before the rush of all the like big hitters, like the next COD and God knows everything else that's going to drop. So, but although saying that, I do think Gears can stand on its own 2 feet.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Honestly, one for sure. Yeah,
like there's not many games out there that could. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of games out there that. Like that, when they release it, you just can't but shake your head. You're like, man, like that was a poor time to release that game. It's just gotten completely overshadowed by this title or that title. But Gears, I do think it could sit, quite pretty next to just about any title. Like it's going to sell. People are going to get Gears 5. I can say that for a fact. As for the release date, though, I personally would be very happy. As like I said, most Gears games have released October, November. Like of the ones I mentioned, around that ballpark. So the sooner I can get my hands on this bad boy, the better, really. I'm so excited for this game, Boom. I absolutely love Gears. Gears is possibly my favorite IP. It's joint at the bloody hip with Halo at this point. And this one could quite possibly be the best Gears yet. I have full faith in the Coalition, Rod Ferguson, and what they're doing. Oh man, this September 10th, roll on, man. I cannot wait. I simply cannot wait. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Real quick, Ricardo Willis with the additional $2 super chat, and he says Xbox needs to slam Fisher Sony. I love it. That's great. And of course, got to give a big shout out to Enrique from Basement Radio Arcade. If you're not subbed to their channel, folks, look, I love helping others in this community. It's literally what I live for. This community is just so welcoming, and the success that I have had, I feel it is almost a pay it forward kind of a situation where smaller shows deserve more eyes and ears. The Iron Lords podcast, those guys are my brothers, and we haven't even met in real life, which of course I'm going to E3 in a couple of weeks with them. and it's going to be amazing. And of course, the Basement Radio Arcade, which I happened to pop on last night. Go over and listen to that. Great show. They had a few technical difficulties in the beginning, but Enrique did get that worked out, and they did start the show again. Give them some love, man. If you sub to me and you like, people who talk about gaming with passion and respect and excitement, those two shows are two of them that you should definitely be clicking on. Tell them Boom sent you, and you will not be disappointed. I will not promote anyone that's negative. I will not promote anyone that's homophobic, that's racist, or anything of that kind of shit that ruins the world that we live in. I will only support people that are positive, and of course, Enrique and that amazing group of people on that panel should in fact be supported. So, Enrique, thanks for being here, dude. But I want to say this. I know Enrique said in the chat that he's excited. One of his most anticipated games is Gear 5. I'm right there with you. Besides being having an awesome collector's edition, which I know they're going to have. I know I keep beating that horse, but, the one with JD on that bike, do you know I don't have that? Do you know that the fraud that I am, I don't have that Gears collector's edition? I should be ashamed of myself. In fact, when done, I'm going to lash myself 10 times just because of it. I have everything else. I don't have that, but I'm hoping that they do at least a custom controller, maybe a custom console. That would be nice, but when Microsoft, they don't really do that anymore, and that's a shame. But you know what? I want to move on to the next topic. We had the sound producer for Void Bastards on a couple of weeks ago by the name of Ryan Roth, and he was awesome. He was a little reserved. I think he was a little nervous. If you didn't hear that interview, you should check it out because he was great. A lot of insight. Well, yesterday we got an official release date for Void Bastards, which listen, folks, that's going to be a big console exclusive. I understand it's not a first party, but man, that game looks dope. I don't care what. If you've seen the video, it has me salivating. It has that Borderlands slash Bioshocky kind of a feel to it. It looks amazing. It looks like you're playing a living comic. And the release date is May 29th, which is right around the corner, right into Game Pass day and date, which is amazing, right? And the campaign, from what we understand, based on the article, Drew, is between 12 and 15 hours to complete. And this game is highly replayable. What do you think about the game? This next big Game Pass entry?
Man, it just cements Game Pass as a service first and foremost. I know we're talking about Void Bastards, but it just blows my mind how good this Game Pass is. Honestly, the service is just outstanding, unmatched. And now we have a release date for Void Bastards. And we can now.
I couldn't put that into the title. I couldn't put that into my title of YouTube because they demonetized the show. I had to talk about it later on.
That's crazy. All it is bastards. Yeah. What's the big deal?
I don't see that. I like saying it, bastards. It's actually quite funny.
Mate, it is. I'm so glad they named it that way. But honestly, we have a release date now for this game. It looks phenomenal. I'm excited to play it, and we can now, as Xbox Game Pass subscribers, boom, we can kick our feet. We can just wait for May 29th to roll out, as we know that the game will be ready and waiting. It is a great feeling as a subscriber to the service, and it doesn't end there. Even the game we were just talking highly about, Boom, Gears of War 5, arguably going to be the biggest and best Gears title to date, will too be dropping day and day on Game Pass. It is just a remarkable service. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
We were everyone in the chat, in case you missed it, we were very fortunate to have a good long chat with the sound producer Ryan Roth for Void Bastards, and that truly put the game on my radar in a massive way. Because I don't know if you remember, Boom, but I'd heard of Void Bastards, but it wasn't really on my radar until you basically threw at me in the deep end, oh, we're going to be interviewing the sound producer. I was like, shit, I got to do some research. God damn it! And talking to him, his enthusiasm with regards to the sound, the music, all this different stuff, and looking at the trailers, it's a beautiful looking game, and it's on my radar to say the least. It's coming to Game Pass, an excellent service. I cannot wait. So, like I said, to know we have the date and the game is essentially paid for, all I have to do is just download it on the day of release. It's an exciting thought. It just begs belief. I know this isn't related to the topic, but still, I have to throw it out there. It just begs belief how anyone in their right mind can throw shade at the Xbox Game Pass service. It's simply the most consumer-friendly service out there, and it's just outstanding. And frankly, it gets me more excited for a game like Void Bastards, because like Void Bastards, I might not have bought straight away if it was down to me having to go out and buy it. Not because I don't want to support it, but that's why Game Pass is such an excellent service, because I haven't got all the money in the world. I can't afford to buy every game. And I'm like, so the fact that I have like a steady subscription for Game Pass, I know that games like this are going to be coming my way. It's penny saving. It saves the avid gamer a lot of money in the long run, myself included. And I'm just looking forward to getting this game as well as all the other games. It's going to be great. Void Bastards, everybody.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's gonna listen. I'm very stoked for it. I'm hoping to do a review for the channel. I'm waiting to actually hear from Ryan. Maybe I can get a code a week early. Give me a chance to really put some time into it and do a proper review prior to the game going live on, of course, the Xbox Game Pass. Real quick, Ricardo Willis with the outstanding additional $2 super chat. He says, vote for Mr. Boomstick XL to make Xbox great again. Yes, I'll take every vote I can get. But speaking of votes, our very good friend Clobriel has once again made some news on social media, and he put out a pre-E3 predictions list. And of this list was for Xbox Game Studios. And I'm going to read the list, and I'm going to get your opinion on how your feelings would be if, in fact, this was what they showed for Microsoft, not their third party, not their second party, but this is what if Phil Spencer comes on stage and says, boom, this is what we're going with. I want to get your opinion. I want to get the chat's opinion, and I will give you my opinion that might shock a lot of people. So stay tuned for that. His list is compressed of Halo Infinite, Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears 5, Gears Tactics, Forza Horizon 4 second expansion, which is rumored to be a part 2 to Hot Wheels, which I really hope that they do. Wasteland 1, the remaster, Wasteland 3, The Outer Worlds, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Minecraft Dungeons, Battletoads, Ninja Theory new IP, Unknown Global Publishing Project, and the Wild Card teaser for one early Xbox Game Studios project. Okay, so now that's what he had out there. So chat, give me a 1 if you would walk away satisfied. Give me a 2 if this is not what you want Microsoft, if you want to see Microsoft put on for E3 2019. And now, Drew, I will get your opinion on this.
Right. First, I need to ask you this question because I didn't see the tweet itself. Is this just what he expects from the first party?
This is just a prediction rumor that he put together. Nothing is he said it right in the tweet. This is not concrete. This is not inside information. This is just what he thinks.
Yeah, this is lame.
Yes. Okay. Keep going.
I mean, like basically, I did a video on my channel like last week or the week before, where I basically in full described what Xbox needs to bring to E3 for it to be 110% a success. I even said in my video, before and after giving my list of what they need to do on that stage, I even said whatever they show on the stage that I haven't listed would just be a bonus. But I feel they need what I'm listing as like, you know, as a done deal at bare minimum. And my list goes as follows. And some of them he does have, I'll give him that, but not nearly enough for my liking. I wouldn't say I'd come away upset, but I certainly wouldn't be fully
It would be a
satisfied.
ho-hum E3 for me, but keep going.
Yeah, but basically my list consisted of, in no particular order, and again in the chat, guys, put a number 1. Actually, no. So there's no confusion with the 1 and 2 thing Boom just said. Put a 3 if you agree with me. Put a 4 if you disagree with me. But this is my list. I would like to see Halo Infinite, Gears of War 5, Forza in some shape or form, whether it be a Forza Horizon expansion or a new Forza Motorsport, Ori Will and the Wisps, Battletoads, Gears Tactics with a full demonstration of the new Razer keyboard, the Xbox Scarlet family, but that's a given. We know that's coming. Xbox Game Pass with some new offerings. Play Anywhere with its demonstration, a full demonstration with the xCloud. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Ninja Theory's new IP, Rare's new IP, the Initiative's new IP or IPs, Playground Games' new RPG IP, a Fable reboot, Mech Assault, Perfect Dark, at least 3 more studio acquisitions, and a heavy third-party showing. Now, I understand he hasn't put down third-party or anything, but for me, like, the Outer Worlds I didn't have on my list. I would happily welcome that onto the stage. Wastelands, that has relevancy because it's in exile and it's highly rumored that they are going to acquire in exile. Maybe they'll make the announcement post showing Wasteland 3. They'll say, oh, yeah, we've now got in exile. Gears 5, Gears Tactic, Halo Master Chief Collection. They don't need to show Halo Master Chief Collection, in my opinion. I know they're going to because of the PC-centric side of the Xbox brand, so I can accept that. But all in all, man, I mean, I'm seeing far too much Minecraft already. Like,
Yes.
I'm going to spit on that. I hate Minecraft. Get fucked, Minecraft. We don't need any more of your shit. I get it. It's a big seller for the Xbox, but man, don't take any unnecessary stage time from other bigger things than, Minecraft. Go away. Battletoads, Ninja Theory's new. Well, they got Ninja Theory's new IP, so I'll give him props for that. Unknown globally published project. God knows what that is, but a teaser for an early. Right. All I'll say is this. Everything on that list is very safe, pretty expected. He hasn't really gone above and beyond, which is quite surprising for Clobriel up until this point. The only things on his list which gets me scratching my chin, like, is the wildcard teaser for an early Xbox Games Studio project. I'll accept that. Ninja Theory's new IP and Halo Infinite. Those 3 are the only things on his list that I think are important. The rest are all have their own respective things, but I lean more towards my list, man. I just think that there needs to be more. I think he's played that far too safe. He's probably, as So Shady said in the chat, lowballed it a bit. So Shady went, Jesus, Minecraft is a trigger spot for Welsh. Yeah, no, dude, it truly is. Like, Minecraft, man. Like, Minecraft is AIDS. I literally just don't have time for Minecraft. Like, I mean, I get that people like it, but it's been established years ago now that we own Minecraft.
Well
we
said.
don't need to see any Minecraft. It's just go away, Minecraft. So I really hope that's not on there. But no, I'm just going to say this, man. I think that list is a nice list, but it's way too safe. If that was, in fact, all we saw at E3, I'd come away fairly disappointed.
Yes.
I honestly don't think that's anywhere near what we got. That's probably just a taster of what we're going to get. I think my list, while some of it might seem far-fetched, I do think a lot of it is true. I expect to see teasers or announcements at the very least for just about every new acquisition. I want to see them pull a Sony in that regard as well for Playground, Fable, the Initiative's new IPs or IP, Rare's new IP, Ninja Theory. I want to see them tease something. I don't need a trailer. I don't need a full-blown CGI cutscene. I don't need 10-minute gameplay. I just want a poster with a guy saying, hello, this is what we're working on. That's all I want to see. Honestly, Halo Infinite, Gears 5, Forza, they're a given. Ori Will and the Wisp, you can expect that. Battletoads, yes. Gears Tactics, that's a must because of the fucking debacle that was that announcement, like that last E3 without like announcing it for Xbox. The Scarlet Family, I fully expect. Play Anywhere, we need a full demonstration. Oh man, Mech Assault, I'd love to see that. Fable is a must. Fable, god damn it.
Yeah, they need to. You know what? I agree with you. They need to address the elephant in the room. You know, obviously there was a leak. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Fable the Masterworks collection, where it would be a remaster of Fable 1, 2, and 3. I hope that comes to fruition, simply because there are a lot of Xbox gamers who never played Fable. Even though they were backwards compatible, I'd like to see a fully realized HD version of all three of those games, in the same vein as Gears Ultimate. Could you imagine getting levels, the lost levels in Fable that were never in there, to make their way into this game? That would not only promote the brand, but it would hold everybody at bay while Fable, which is, you know, could possibly be 3 years away. We don't know. But before I give you what I need there be on that list that's not there, I have to say two big shout outs. First of all, Robert Olson with the outrageous $10 super chat. Thank you so much. He says Microsoft needs to come out swinging. Amen, brother. And I don't mean swinging. I mean put the brass knuckles on and knock someone's teeth out kind of swinging. That's what they need to do. And Fanatical Gamer 2 with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, great show. Keep it up. Yes. Well, thank you for your generosity and, of course, for listening to the show. It does mean a lot to both Welsh and I. Here's what I need.
Boom. Can I just say one last thing before you?
Please, go ahead.
It seems the chat have unanimously agreed with me. I haven't seen one person disagree, so I do appreciate it. I do think I upset someone with regards to my distaste for Minecraft. I do apologize to you, man. If you enjoy it, that's great. I just don't think it belongs on the Xbox stage.
It doesn't.
Anymore.
It doesn't. Not this year.
Yeah, this year very much so. Like, no way. This year they got us smashing up the park. This year, no time for Minecraft. That is a dull moment. But no, what I was going to say, Boom, was like, everything on this list that Globriel's presented, with the exception of Ninja Theory and obviously a wild card tease, we've seen all of these things.
Yes, we have. That's a great point. Great point.
That's what I mean. There's no, like, I fully expect, like I said in my video, and I urge people to go check it out, shameless plug, but I have already listed everything. They literally, and I've said this before, Xbox, if they come away from this E3 without showing at least a handful of new things that they are working on, as well as a huge third-party offering, loads of like marketing deals, maybe some custom consoles. I don't know. They need to just literally hit on all cylinders here. And all I'm seeing on this list is stuff we've seen the last two E3s. So, like, no, absolutely not. I think everything on this list deserves its place, with the exception of Minecraft. Fuck Minecraft. But they need to come at it with all the new stuff as well. Rare, Ninja Theory, The Initiative, Playground, Fable, Mech Assault, A Perfect Dark, whatever they're working on. 3 more acquisitions need to be shown. A third party, all the offerings, third party end, all the marketing deals. They need to come at it big. And for your sake, Boom, a goddamn Splinter Cell. God damn it!
Yeah, they need a Splinter Cell. But I'm going to tell you what needs to be on this list. You know, these games are great. Gears is going to have their place. Halo's a must. Halo must be on that list. We have to see what's going on with 343 and the Slip Space engine. We have to see what's going on. Wasteland is going to be up there simply because it's a new acquisition. In Exile I think is the one that's doing Wasteland, if I'm not mistaken. It's not In Exile. It's the folks doing Outer Worlds. They're having 3 games from them up there. You know, I mean that's to me that's a little weak. I'm going to tell you what. Listen, the list I have in front of me is going to make people so excited that you're going to bust in your pants. All right, pardon the French. Okay, but this is the kind of exciting list that you would need on top of what's already there. Take out the Minecraft, get rid of it, garbage. We don't want that. Wasteland 3, we don't need to talk about that right now, simply because there's going to be a Wasteland 1 remaster. Talk about that. Gears Tactics, want to hear about it. Forza Horizon 4, if it turns out to be the rumored Hot Wheels track, great, want to hear about that. The Master Chief Collection, get that out of there. Get that out of there right now. Usher it to the door and keep it moving. Nobody wants to talk to that Master Chief right now. We want to talk about the new Master Chief. Well, this is my list. First of all, if Killer Instinct 2 isn't announced, I'm going to be beside myself. I'm going to tell you that right now. It is one of the best fighting franchises out there. The fact that we have not had a proper sequel is a disgrace. Shame on everybody. Crimson Skies, that was rumored to be in the works. They made it backwards compatible. It sold very well, being an old-ass game. Looks fantastic. Come on, folks. It's perfect. It's a smaller AA, even a single A kind of a title that you could put into Game Pass. Banjo and Kazooie, my freaking goodness. Why the hell do we not have a Banjo and Kazooie, a new one? Reboot the series if you want, but for God's sakes, just because it's an adult system doesn't mean we can't have, the Nintendo-like games on that. It does sell, folks. Children do play your Xbox. Yep. FYI.
For the record, Boom, when I say Rare's new IP in quotes, it might not be a new IP. It could well and truly be a reboot of Banjo, and I say bring it on.
Yeah, I agree. If it's true, if the rumors are true, and Joanna Dark is going to make her reappearance into the Xbox brand, let it be known to people. Let's see what you've been working on, even if it's just you flash me a screen of Joanna just on the cover. I don't care. If the Coalition is in fact working on a Perfect Dark sequel or a reboot like they've been rumored to be doing, let's talk about that. We know Gears 5 is going to be good. We know Gears Tactics is going to be good. They have to be up there, but you can throw us a surprise or two, and that's one of them. Like you said, a Mech Assault. There's rumors that that's been in development for quite some time. Let's get another Mech Assault out there. It doesn't have to be a $60 billion game. It could be a relatively decent budgeted title that is just a reboot of the franchise. And these are the two big ones. And I'm going to be honest with you. I understand that these are a real long shot. But as a fan of the brand, I have to say it out loud. What about surprising the fuck, pardon my French, out of the entire world and announcing a Sunset Overdrive 2?
Oh, yeah, true that, brother.
And then if you really want to do a mic drop that just completely wipes the floor with anything that's going to come out of the Sony camp, because they're going to release something on Twitter to try and take the thunder, or Nintendo, you turn around and Phil comes out and announces that they purchased Crytek, and they announced Rise, Son of Rome 2 in development. Drop the mic, go to F home. Bye. That's how you close out the show.
Dude, my point being, right, whether people lean towards my list, your list, or a mixture of the two, what we're both getting at here is what Clobriel is presenting is lame. I'm sorry, Clobriel.
It's a safe list. Listen. First of all, Clobriel's the man. First of all, I had the absolutely great way of talking with him. I had invited him on the show, and he wants to stay, secret, and that's super cool. But the fact that he spoke to me was awesome. I really do appreciate the Clobriel. This was just a safe list. Nothing was put in stone. He said that in the tweet. Yeah. And I got to be honest with you. Some people gave him some shit for it. I didn't. I simply said, if this was the list, Drew, I would be very unimpressed.
Oh, mate, absolutely. I'm a fan of Clobriel too. If he is listening, don't take offense to what I'm saying, dude. I'll call Boom lame if I don't agree with something he's doing. So it's nothing personal. It's just that is a lame list. I'm not going to lie to you. Real lame. Christ, you have no imagination, son. but no, yeah, like you said, he played it safe. He said it's not concrete. He's just throwing a few things out there. Maybe he's just wetting the taste buds. But yeah, man, your list was phenomenal. I didn't even think of Sunset Overdrive or Killer Instinct as sequels. Banjo, that's another big one. There's just so much Xbox can do. There's just literally Xbox is sitting on so many good IPs which they could revive. And like you said, they don't have to be billion, million, quadrillion dollar projects. They've got so many talented developers over at the Idea Xbox program.
Yes.
Who are hungry for that chance to prove themselves.
Give them some of the older IPs. Let them go crazy. You got nothing to lose.
Yeah, mate, give them, mate, Mech Assault would be a perfect one. Just hand that over to one of the many potential candidates over at Idea Xbox. Give them a nice sizable budget. Let them recruit a handful of headhunts, honchos, and be like, right, we are giving you the responsibility to show us a an alpha or beta or whatever of a new MechAssault game. We'll come back to us in a few months. We'll see how you're getting on. They could do that. They're sitting on a lot of talent, and I keep making this point. Look at the guys behind State of Decay. People can throw shade at that game because it was a indie, then a AA, and it was a bit buggy, this, that, and the other. But when you think about where they began, they were an Idea Xbox team. They were small fry. They were really small. Then they made State of Decay for the Xbox 360 arcade, and now State of Decay 2 is a AA title. Now they've got first-party pickings with Xbox. Their next title could be up there with bloody Left 4 Dead, Walking Dead, and the recent World War Z. You just don't know. I'm just saying that there's possibility there, Boom, and there's so many good projects, OG Xbox projects like Cameo, Perfect Dark, MechAssault, and many, many more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but they're just sitting on. And all they need to do is just give it a little, break out the checkbook, a few zeros, nothing too crazy, give it to one of these Idea Xbox people, and boom, there you go. You've got 3 or 4 more projects to drop on Xbox Game Pass, which people will eat up, no problem. But these big AAA acquisitions, I fully expect to see something. I'm fully with you, Boom, when you said they don't need to throw massive trailers our way, just a little tease. Anything will do.
They have to invigorate
yes
the audience. You have to understand something. People that are still with Xbox are the diehard people, the diehard fans. Many of us are hanging on. I'm not saying you're never going to hear me. I'm leaving Microsoft to go to Sony. Screw you. Because I support all 3 consoles. But because this is my main console, because this is where I enjoy most of my gaming, I want to see them surprise us. I want to see them excite the fan base. This is, again, and I said this before, and I'm going to say it. I said it yesterday on Gaming News with Salty. They need to re-energize the brand. Okay, Game Pass is great. The X is great. Phil Spencer's great. We know all of that. But games have to lead the charge. And I'm not talking about having third-party marketing deals. That is a part of the process, but it's not the main ticket. The main ticket is showing your fan base that you give a flying F about them and that new old games are coming. They have a back catalog with some serious muscle that has not been seen in years. And they could go to these smaller ID at Xbox teams, just like you said, and say, listen, you like making robot games? How about we give you a MechAssault and let the smaller team go crazy with it? You know what I'm saying? Something like a Perfect Dark, I wouldn't necessarily give that to an indie team. I would let a smaller coalition team who does Gears, a third-person kind of a game, which is what I hope they change the game to. I want it to be like a Splinter Cell / Tomb Raider-ish kind of a game with Joanna Dark. That's what I want. And listen, this is their conference to lose, folks. And I start with that. It's not their conference to win. It's their conference to lose. And I think Phil is well aware of that. And I also am going to say that you can't, if you're going to shock the world, don't be afraid to go past the 2-hour mark on stage. Bring everything you can put into your backpack and then bring a plastic bag on top of that, stuffed filled to the brim. That's what they need to do at this E3.
Absolutely. There's no time limit, in my opinion. Literally take all the time you need. And by God, I've never said this more than I have in this last few months, but by all means, just this once, please take a leaf out of the Sony book formula. I don't want Xbox to make a habit of it, Boom. I don't want every E3 from this one onwards to be them showing games that are years out. But this E3 is so important to the brand. Moving forward, it is so important bridging that gap between now and the next generation and the launch of the Lockhart and Anaconda. It can't be understated how important this E3 is. They need to present the future of Xbox.
Yes, great point.
From service, hardware, and what we're talking about right now, the games.
The games.
So when I say Rare, Ninja Theory, Initiative, all of the above, and all the new acquisitions they might announce come this E3, Just tease what you're doing. I don't care if the game's another 2, 3, 4 years away. Just tell me what I can look forward to, what the man next to me, the woman next to me can look forward to, what the casual can look forward to, and why we need to keep our ears and eyes open to what's coming. Like, why, give Phil, point to me and say, this is why you need to mark your calendar. This is why you need to get a piggy bank at the ready to start saving for the Lockhart and Anaconda. This is why you need to get a Game Pass subscription. You know, this is why this is why that. Just give me the answers. Use this stage. You've got no one telling you need to wrap this up. Like, oh, Phil, wrap this up, man. You got to finish up. No. If you need to take 4 hours, take all the time you need. That is my soapbox.
Yeah, do a 2-hour show, eat a sandwich, and come back for the other 60 minutes. I'm okay with that. Real quick, I have to do a couple of shout outs. First of all, Gabriel Hernandez says he wants a Ninja Gaiden reboot, and I think we're going to get that, dude. I've been hearing that since last year that they're working with Team Ninja. I mean, again, it's just a rumor. And of course, Lansville Paul with a real old school callback to Brute Force, which, by the way, I agree. Brute Force was freaking cool back in the days. It probably runs terrible now, but I could definitely go for that. Well, listen, though, this has been probably one of the best ones we've done in a long time. This was almost a 2-hour show. The chat has been unbelievable. We had 153 people watching live, according to what the number said at the top. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a passion project for both Drew and I. We're big Xbox guys, and I think everybody in the chat as well. First of all, I want to thank Christina Price for the generous donation of the 1 month of Game Pass. Graphic God, who won that, I will be sending that code in a few, Jay. And of course, the outstanding generosity from people in the super chat. My goodness, I mean, you blow me away each and every week, and your generosity is not to be denied. And of course, you're going to generosity. Ricardo Willis with an additional $2 super chat. He says Xbox needs to keep punch to the end. At the end of they keep punching to the end of the show. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it needs to be bang after bang after bang. And of course, I could not do this show, and I would not want to do this show if I didn't have my partner and my very good friend, my brother, as I've called him before, the Welsh gamer. Welsh, listen, you have been really putting out some awesome content on your channel. I'm really proud of you. You know, you've been very opinionated, and you're getting a lot of good feedback from that. You're just you're a hair under 1,800 subs. I'd like to see you get 2,000 before the end of the year. I think you deserve it. That'd be great. Tell everyone where they could follow you on Twitter, DM you to talk shop, but more importantly, sub your channel, dude.
Dude, I am high on life at the minute. Like, gaming is just so interesting to talk about. Xbox is looking phenomenal. E3 is just around the corner. I benched 100 kg and deadlifted 120 kg this week.
My back hurts just talking about it.
So I've hit some PRs in the gym, so that's got me on cloud 20. Man, there's so many good things that have happened like this week and everything. I'm just excited. As for my channel, go over to the Welsh Gamer. I'm doing the Welsh Gamer show. And I'm enjoying myself over there. Hit the sub and the bell. Yeah, boom, great show, man. Great topics. I think we hit it out the park. Everyone in the chat, I love you all. You are fantastic. Really makes me enjoy the show even more to know that you guys are here. We have a few bad eggs, but don't let them ruin your day. They're all lame anyway. Boom, love you, bro. Brother from across the pond. Brother from another mother. Take it away. That's me. I'm gone. That's the Welsh Gamer. The Welsh Gamer has spoken. See you next week.
Yeah, thanks so much, dude. Yeah, I've been working with the Bosu Ball in the gym, preparing myself for the E3 that's going to be upcoming in a few weeks. And this week, the new exercise, they killed me. Oh my God, that Bosu Ball is no joke. And if you don't know what it is, it's got the hard bottom and the rubber top. It looks like a half of a ball, and you do all kinds of exercise on it. It's very difficult. But of course, I'm trying to, keep this 49-year-old body in shape. It's not the greatest shape, but it does what it needs to do. But anyway, listen, folks, if you enjoyed today's show, I would highly recommend and hope that you will, in fact, hit that like button on your way out. And I also will say this: if you don't like it, if I don't know what else we can talk about that you would like. If you don't like the show, and hit the thumbs down button. I'm not going to argue with you. It's it's your right to hit up or down. If you are enjoying the show and you have Xbox friends in your circle, tell them about the show. Because unfortunately, some of the older Xbox shows outside of the two that I mentioned that are really fantastic have really fallen off a cliff with negativity and drama and nonsense and finger pointing and stuff that we don't want to be around. The world is gross enough that we want to hang around shows that we enjoy the positivity, and that's what you're going to get with the Xbox Factor podcast each and every week. And of course, Drew and I will see everyone next Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. Tune in for the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your gaming time. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye now.